Hey ladies and gents, this is Isdoiz here with the review of the Cosmic Legion's Sphexxian Prison Guard. There you go, feast your eyes on the box. Sphexxian Prison Guard. It's got a digital rendering here incorporated into the box. It's got the Havalkatar Book 1 intro. It's got the cross cell on the back. This side it says Sphexxian Prison Guard. Long known as a secretive and secluded culture, the Sphexxian have colonies of the Sphexxian hive colonies of Visipir, easy for you to say, have been scattering away from their home as of late. With the preservation of Sphex culture and livelihood as their motivator, the Sphexxian prison guards of Havalkatar are a brutally efficient and organized force. Rapid population growth is increasingly draining Visipir's resources. Sphexxian foragers has been sent out to the far reaches of the 5 rings of Cosmarium in search of supplies and sustenance for Visipir. Others, like the guards of Havalkatar, take up work as a way of accumulating wealth to be shared with their people. So, they're bugs, but, they're working for the good of the hive. And that is a laudable thing, right? But at the same time, brutally efficient. I'm guessing these are, may perhaps have a hive mind or are just drones. But I just have to say that they are absolutely beautiful. And I think this is my favorite of the Sphexxians. Sphexxians are my favorite of the Cosmic Legions so far. And the reason I'm so attracted to these are because of the metallic paints, the translucent wings, but especially the iridescence of the paint, which really pops, and it really makes them look like actual insects. So this guy here is armed to the teeth, or the mandibles, with a sort of a blaster that has looks like it's made out of bone or something, but obviously it's high tech. And he also comes with this, what I've called before, a stun staff. He's got multiple weapons and multiple ways to wield those weapons, because he has big arms up top and then these smaller vestigial arms in the middle. And this is let me take the stun staff off so I can show you what that looks like. I think it's shared with some other figures as well, but this one is really nicely painted. I love that hint of purple on the blade there. That sort of wear. And that is very, very nice. Not only does he have 4 arms and 2 wings, but he has all these extra hands that he can use again to sort of wield these weapons. They're in a gun grip pose. He's got 1, 2, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hands. And the main thing that I can see, and the main reason for all these hands, is that they have wrists that go side to side and up and down. So another, I think it was either Malcolm from the Euro Legions podcast, mentioned something that I myself had noticed, is these look like claws. So crab claws. And I'm looking at ways to incorporate these and pop and swap them with other figures to make them look more alien. And they've got this really cool sculpting, and right here, especially the thumb, is sort of crab pincer like, right? Airbrush, touches of airbrush brown. But I wanted to show you some fun that I've been having with these figures. Check this out. This is a head pop and swap that I did, and I was looking at the possibility of painting up these hands and replacing the hands on this Oleg Thygar Halalkatar edition. And I was trying to see how I could make them possibly match the head. I did not paint this head, and I did not sculpt this head. This head was painted by David Williams from Tucson, Arizona, a tattoo artist who is also a great painter, customizer, and just general all-around artist. And I hope you can see how beautifully painted and all the different shades he has here on this alien head. And this is just a strict pop and swap that I did because I've been waiting with my Cthulhu for a proper body, and I think this one really does him justice. I'm still thinking of possibly replacing the hands, maybe with some tentacles or something from another figure, but I really love that. I took a Boomblade, Orc Blade from Mythic Legions, and my Cthulhu, I loved this sculpt the very first time I saw it. It's by Tristan Castile from Immortal Collections, and what a great idea to take a cat, give him multiple eyes, and then give him tentacles and just a squid-like head. It's familiar, it's grotesque, it's scary, and it's wonderful at the same time. And this is just the sandbox that the Four Horsemen have created for the fans and the customizers and other artists out there, right? Tristan Castillo, keep an eye on that guy, because I basically think he's a baby Eric Treadaway. Eric Treadaway being the genius sculptor, and for Four Horsemen Studios, who has given us all these wonderful Cosmic Legions and Mythic Legions before us. Tristan Castillo, Immortal Collections, somebody to really keep an eye on. And obviously, if you can get someone with talent like David Williams to paint it up with you, look at all that nice little touches and color gradations and stuff. Man, that's just a very, very cool character who I immediately fell in love with as soon as I swapped that head on. Might do something with the hands, but even if I don't, he's already really cool. So my buying that at Legions Con and waiting on Cosmic Legions has finally paid off. Anyway, so that was a digression where I was talking about the hands and then the possibility of popping them onto other figures. Maybe I'll have Dave Williams paint me up some of these hands to match him, so he can have not only the influence of the squid and the tentacles, but the crab-like pincer claw hands as well. See how that works out. But back to the Sphexxian. I just wanted to show that off. So we just showed you his weapon. Let's take a look at the one that he has in hand right now. Sort of a bone color. And then you have these really nicely painted bright red dots there. And it really, really pops. It's gigantic and it looks awesome. This isn't the only weapon he has. He comes with these now ubiquitous sort of gauntlet wrist blaster things on each hand. Those are removable if you don't want them, but we get 2 of those with the Sphexxian as well. And I love the wrist blasters. And these little hands are cute as heck. And they have little elbows there. And the only thing about these hands is that they kind of tend to pop off, so you have to be careful. But they're very cool, and he can hold the stun staff with that. What else? There's just chock full of this insect like detail, right? A second set of, I don't know, vestigial hands there, kind of like praying mantis hands perhaps, or a second set of mandibles. Very techno-organic with the head, where it looks robotic and insectoid at the same time. It's hard to tell, what it is actually, if it's half a cybernetic organism or if it's just an insect that looks robotic. Oh, the little hand fell off. So yeah, I may, use a stand for this guy, because the other thing that I'm worried over time about is the wings sagging. The wings are beautifully, see, because the wings also come off. So I think it's going to be sort of, this is one that I'm going to set up in my display and not futz around with too much, because even though the wings fit in easily, they do have a tendency to pop off, right? But I just put them in there, and it's kind of a warm day today, so I think that may have something to do with why those are still loose. But anyway, the wings swivel up, the wings swivel down. I'm not sure whether there is a second joint here. If it is, it would be stuck. I don't think there is, but I think that was a little bit of a lost opportunity, because I'd love him to be able to splay out the wings and have them splay out with 4 wings. But you can put them up as well, right? This is going to be, I think, kind of like one of those figures from Zylona's Flock, like the one with the fairy wings, where it's going to need a stand if you're going to want them to stay up, because just the weight of gravity over time is going to pull the wings out or cause them to fall out like that. See? So I don't know if that could be fixed, by making the peg a little longer. I'm not sure why the pegs are so short there. I'm sure there's an engineering reason for it, but like I said, it's a very, very warm day today, and I think that may affect the ability of it to stay in. I love the back of the, I don't know what this is called, but there's a pincher back here. This is not the abdomen or the thorax, but I forget the technical name for the bug parts. He also has one of those belts. He's got a couple of ports back there that you can use to plug weapons in. The other thing that I might do, if I have a lot of problems with these little arms and difficulty with them staying in, is just do what I used to do when I was a little kid and take a few of the arms off. He looks just as cool with just 2 arms as he does with these tiny little arms here. But you can see how small the pegs are on there and why it would have difficulty sticking in there and staying in. And it looks like this one is in there nice and tight, but one arm is loose and one wing is kind of loose, right? So that's the other thing to worry about. I love how the metallics alternate, the metallic blue with the iridescence right here on the belt. That looks really super cool. It's neat because it's alien, it's insectoid, and it's robotic at the same time. So is this exoskeleton armor, or is it a metallic metal alloy? It's kind of hard to say. Is it this looks like it's definitely bug parts, and this looks like it's definitely armor. I love how he doesn't have the normal humanoid type legs. He's got the knee that, goes backwards, and the legs are pretty nice and tight, and they're pretty big. So I think he won't have much problem standing and posing. And I think the other thing is, if you put the wings down, that provides another point to stabilize it. And so I think that is another way to kind of use the wings. And you can splay them up if you want to photograph them, or if you want to hang them from the ceiling, have them splayed out. I think that would work nicely as well. But having them stay up as he stands, I think, is probably over time. Like I said, gravity is just going to end up pulling those wings down on him. So I love the antennas. I love how this figure came out. I remember how delicate it was when I checked out the first prototypes. As a matter of fact, the prototypes, which are made of resin, they didn't even come out of the box really when they showed them off at PowerCon, because they kind of felt kind of brittle and they kept falling apart. There were too many parts. But I think they did an amazing job with these. And, you know, basically, I think he's going to stand well. I think he's going to pose well. I think if you find the sweet spot in the center of gravity, you're not going to have a problem with him falling over. If he can lean back on those wings, especially. It's not it's not anything that I think detracts from the figure too much, because, like I said, he's just absolutely beautiful from any angle. And I've always loved these bug and aliens, whether from Ender's Game or Rick and Morty or whatever. I love the idea of this endless horde of, you know, soldiers just coming at our main protagonist. And obviously these are guards, so he's going to have to escape. He's got his work cut out for him. This is also a very cool touch here, where we have the armor and then you have this exoskeleton coming out there. So, like I said, one wing is gonna give me problems, right? So, and I've had a few problems on and off with wings staying in on you know, even on Mythic Legions sometimes, but it's just a matter of making sure that he's displayed in a way that doesn't cause the wings or other parts to fall off. And then also, if it's not in a hot room, like this room is pretty hot. I mean, right now, as I'm doing the review, I've got sweat on my upper lip, so I'm thinking that that's why he's sort of soft. Okay, so I showed you the Sphexxian prison guard. There's another Sphexxian that I haven't taken out of the box yet, but that I can't wait to review for you guys. And I showed you this wonderful head done by Tristan Castillo, or sculpted by Tristan Castillo of Immortal Collections, and painted by David Williams, and popped on this Havalkatar Oleg Thygar body. And look at that. I mean, man, just the endless possibilities, the endless worlds to explore. And this Cosmic Legionnaires line is going to be super fun. So, and so far, like I said, the Sphexxians may be my favorite. I think it's the iridescent, translucent wings, and the beautifully painted and the beautifully sculpted details on these. If you like bugs, if you like aliens, if you like sci-fi, I think you'll like these guys as much as I do. All right, Is the Wiz signing out.